I, like probably you, struggle sometimes with procrastination. It's one of those things that's just like this beast that sits there in the background and occasionally reaches up his claw and goes, tries to grab you and pull you down into the morass of getting absolutely nothing done. I'm constantly battling and have figured out a few things that help me. I'm going to share them with you. I cannot say that I have solved this problem, so this is not a definitive solution video. This is a, hey, here's some of the things that I have figured out about myself. So first off, when you deal with procrastination, a lot of people believe that it has to do with this concept of perfectionism, where people procrastinate. They don't do something because they're trying to get it perfect right out of the gate. Frankly, I think that's masking the real issue. To me, the real issue is not perfectionism. It's the thing underneath perfectionism. The reason why they're afraid of putting something out that's not perfect is that, helps if you do it right side up, is that they're afraid of failure. And if you look at it in terms of the reason I'm not putting something out is because it's not yet perfect, and so I'm battling with perfectionism, what you're actually doing is you're not thinking about the main thing, which is the fear of failure that's underneath, which then raises the real question of how serious would it be if you failed to do this thing? So let's say you put up an opt-in incentive. This is what I just did. Just last night, I spent 2 hours, wrote up an opt-in incentive. I followed my rules, no more than 2 hours to create it. And I realized as I did it, that what happens if this fails? Well, I will have lost 2 hours plus maybe an hour's more of work that I'll put into the actual coding of it and getting that up. Will my business die? Will I be homeless on the street? Will I not be able to pay my rent? No, I'll simply try again. I'll simply put something else out. One of the biggest things about fear that causes to procrastinate is to ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? And all right, let's take the worst case. Let's just imagine that that thing that I'm most afraid of actually happens. How big a deal is that? And in many cases, it's not. You realize when you think through this process that you're not doing it because you're afraid, but the thing you're afraid of is inconsequential. And so it's not that big a deal. So you might as well just get it done. Which brings up the concept that I found to be the single most important process in overcoming procrastination, is realizing that procrastination makes you want to just do the absolute minimum. And I believe you should do exactly the opposite, which is do more rather than doing less. So opt-in incentives. Instead of putting one up there and basing your entire business on it, put 30 out there. Spend 60 hours, create 30 opt-in incentives, plus another 30 hours to program each one, and then throw them all against the wall and see which one sticks. So many people try to build the perfect marketing funnel, the perfect launch, the perfect email gathering system, where in reality, the probability is incredibly high that whatever you do, even though you do it the very, very best way you possibly could, you're probably not going to hit a home run with that. All right, so go to bat 100 times, strike out 60, hit a single 20, hit a double 10, and maybe hit one home run in that 100 times. Do more rather than less. Here's the next one. This has to do with like your day-to-day management of procrastination, which is this. Start your day doing the thing that you're procrastinating. This is one I really struggle with, because what I want to do is I want to start the day. I've got this system of how I start my day. And what ends up happening is the thing I'm procrastinating is supposed to happen at 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock comes, and then I've got something else that I think that is more important that day. And so then it's going to be at 3 o'clock the next day. And 2 weeks later, it's still not happened at 3 o'clock on those days. What I found is that when I put it as the first thing in my schedule, I start my day with this, then you get it off your plate and it's just done, and you can start moving forward, and you no longer have to deal with the fear of failure because you've got something that you throw up against the wall. So everything that I've talked about so far all gets crammed into a solution when you just start your day with that thing that you're avoiding. Here's the next one. Set deadlines with rewards and punishments in them. I really want to watch this thing on Netflix. If I get this thing done by Friday at 5, I get to watch it. If I don't, I'm working the weekend doing that thing. Something like that. Whatever works for you, put in those rewards and punishments. And while we're on the subject, hey, why not just make that a public commitment? Tell people outside of yourself what you're going to do so that they're looking for it, so they're bothering you because you haven't done it yet. This is really powerful. While we're talking about doing it publicly, I suggest you get a mean accountability partner. A lot of accountability partners work this way. You commit that you're going to get something done by Friday at 5 o'clock. On Monday, you've got a call with your accountability partner. They say, how'd that go? Well, I didn't quite get it done. And here's the thing, because they're an accountability partner and they want you to give them mercy when they blow it, they give you mercy when you blow it. And what you really need is someone who's going to, I'm sorry, you made a commitment to me. You made a commitment to yourself that you were going to get that done by Friday at 5 o'clock. Why didn't you get that done by Friday at 5 o'clock? When are you going to get that done? Can you get that done by 3 o'clock today? All right, I've blocked you off on my calendar at 3 o'clock. I'm expecting a phone call from you where you're going to report the fact that you've gotten that done today. That's a mean accountability partner. That's the kind of accountability partner that helps you get over your procrastination. Now, not everybody needs a mean accountability partner, though it is a good idea. But if you're a person who struggles a lot with procrastination, you really should go find a mean accountability partner. And especially if you put some teeth into the game where you do things like send your accountability partner a $500 check and they can cash it if you don't get it done by Friday at 5 o'clock. All of a sudden, you've just turned your accountability partner into somebody who actually helps you get things done. Here's another one. Take risks early in your plan, in your year, in your day. So, for example, let's say you want to do a launch. What if you did the launch earlier in the year rather than later? So that way, if your worst case actually happens, that launch doesn't deliver what you want it to, you've still got the rest of the year to go solve that problem. And if it succeeds, then you've got the rest of the year to just be able to purely give people great content, serve their needs and things like that, and you'll still be able to hit your plan because you delivered on that plan very early on in the year. Same thing if you look at it in terms of the day. If you start your day with the thing that is your highest risk activity for that day, so let's say, for example, that you've decided that you're going to call 3 friends and talk to them about possibly doing consulting with them, call them early in the day so that way you've gotten it done. You're not procrastinating it all day, and you know the results early in the day, and you can adjust the rest of your day according to whatever the results are that you bring out early on in that day. Those are just some thoughts. As I said, I've not solved the problem of procrastination in my own life. I'm pretty good at mastery of that. And so I'm trying to constantly work on it. What I'd love to hear is, in addition to things that I've talked about here, what are some of the things that you have found are valuable in your own personal mission against procrastination? Share that here. It'll help me. It'll help all of us so that we can get over our procrastination problems and start to just go do this stuff.